Decode Conflict presents Poland, the front line of Russia's test of NATO resolve. On the night of September 9, 2025, Polish radars lit up with unfamiliar tracks. By dawn on September 10th, nearly 24 Russian drones had crossed into Poland, some entering from Belarus and flying deep into the country. Airports in Warsaw, Rzeszów, and Lublin were shut down, NATO fighters scrambled, and Dutch F-35s joined Polish defenses in intercepting the incursion. At least 8 drones were shot down, others crashed or slipped away, and fragments were found scattered across central Poland. In response, Warsaw invoked NATO's Article 4, forcing urgent consultations, and within days the alliance launched Operation Eastern Sentry to reinforce its eastern flank. Moscow called it an accident, but the reality was clear. This was a deliberate test. Russia's use of drones in Polish airspace was a textbook example of gray zone warfare, actions designed to remain below the threshold of open war while still applying pressure. By forcing NATO to respond without offering a clear justification for escalation, the Kremlin transformed Poland into a laboratory for probing Western defenses. Every drone was a question. How quickly would jets scramble? How tightly would NATO coordinate? Would the alliance stand united or fracture under pressure? The logic behind this operation becomes clearer when asked through the 5 whys. Why did it happen? To measure NATO's detection and reaction to a mass infiltration. Why now? Because it coincided with ZAPAD 2025 military exercises and intensified strikes in Ukraine, maximizing stress on Allied defenses. Why use drones? Because they are low cost, low risk, and deniable. Even unarmed or decoy drones can overwhelm radars and reveal gaps. Why target Poland? Because it is the logistical lifeline for Ukraine and the loudest advocate of NATO's eastern defense, making it both symbol and pressure point. And why does this matter? Because Russia wants to know whether hesitation and political division can be exploited, whether NATO's deterrent is solid steel or merely a shield of words. The intent is not only military, it is psychological and political. By forcing Poland into constant alert, Moscow seeks to make European publics feel vulnerable, to normalize the presence of hostile drones in Allied skies, and to sap long-term willpower. Every headline about airport shutdowns or intercepted aircraft becomes a tool of perception warfare. At the same time, the incursions generate live intelligence. Each scramble provides Moscow with timing data. Each intercept reveals rules of engagement, and each temporary disruption offers insight into NATO's vulnerabilities. But Russia's calculus is not without danger. A drone crashing in a populated area or a cyber attack coinciding with such an incursion could provoke an Article 5 debate and push NATO into collective defense. What the Kremlin designs as a limited probe could backfire, welding the alliance closer together and accelerating deployments to Poland. In trying to exploit cracks, Russia risks creating unity. The implications are far-reaching. For NATO, the risk is complacency, treating low-level violations as background noise instead of deliberate strategy. For the United States, credibility is at stake. Hesitation in defending Poland would ripple across the alliance. For Ukraine, every diversion of NATO's resources is a hidden victory for Moscow. And globally, success in Poland could embolden adversaries elsewhere, reshaping the rules of international conduct. The September 2025 drone incursion was not a nuisance. It was a strategic rehearsal disguised as a tactical incident. NATO's challenge is to recognize the deeper test unfolding in Poland and to prove that its collective resolve is more than rhetoric. Decode Conflict concludes, the Kremlin is betting on hesitation. NATO must decide whether to prove it wrong or risk letting the test become the new normal.